I do inner work for a living. For real. Divine Mother arranges how I make it all work, and I simply lend my skills to her. This is how you will stand in your mission when you've made it more specific what it will be, besides exuding unconditional love, and support it with business structures. How does that work? Well, let's talk about that a little bit in this video. I do inner work for a living, and I really mean that. It's Divine Mother that figures out for me what I do, how I do it. But what are the layers of that? Well, when I start in the morning, I have done my morning things, and then I go to my office, and the first thing that I do is my inner work with the key tool, with the 4 steps, and I go through them, and I add some fun things such as a card reading. And then I move that aside and I go to my work, my tasks, my meetings with people, my strategy making, my marketing. And that's my day. And then the next day I do it again. But then I actually also do inner work every moment in that executing the rest of the day in my office, my work. I do inner work when I feel upset by something, when something is not really fully complete or whole or to my satisfaction, and I feel a little bit imperfect about it. When I feel upset, that's what it is about. And then I do it again. I also do inner work on that so that I know how to continue or to do something different next time, etc., etc. But what is more, there is actually another layer of inner work that I add to this, and that is that I do the meeting with people, the coaching people, the marketing on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube and on Twitter, and the strategizing to make that all possible, and the making of all these pictures that I post everywhere, and the making of these videos. I do all of this as a matter of doing the inner work. That is the inner work that I'm doing because everything is my consciousness at work. That means alive. Everything is me expressing my inner peace through being in the transmutation all the time. Everything is that. It's not only doing the inner work with the key tool 4 steps, writing it down and feeling it. Being on my computer and meeting people is the same thing. It's the same process, other form. So that's how I do continual inner work as a living. But there's more because the topic of my sharing, of my work, of my coaching, of my teachership is doing inner work. To go to Harmonious Twin Flame Union, where I am since March 2020, I have been placed there in Harmonious Union as consciousness state because I did the inner work enough between me and my creator, between me and the divine, between me and my source. That's where the inner work is when you want to go to Harmonious Union. And somewhere around that, you'll also get the clarification process, the revelation process of who the true twin flame is. And that also happened for me. And yeah, that comes from doing the inner work between you and your divine source in that relationship. And that's the result, then, the harmonious union is the result of that. And that is because everything is a relationship and you live in relationship in the state of relationships. Relationship is like the foundation of being human, the recipe of humanity, right? And that is so because you are a relationship at the soul level, and you relate to your creator, to what created you, and that is the first relationship. And if that's established, you can have other relationship in the horizontal layer too, and the first one of that is that with your true twin flame. Yeah. And after harmonious union, I was still doing inner work to be able to move through the after harmonious union healing wave that moved through my physical being, my mental being, my emotional body too. And to after that one be able to build. And after that one, more inner work to be able to perfect everything and so on. So I was still doing inner work after harmonious union. And I was actually also told around that time of reaching harmonious union that there was a specific way that I was going to now be fully initiated in. And that was the way of doing your mission in harmonious union, and how that would feel, and how that would be, and how that would mean surrendering everything to Divine Mother, to my source, to my essence, and let that lead instead of let the ego lead. And how that would be different, perhaps also even than all my experience, because I actually was already, coaching and being an entrepreneur, like an independent worker, since 15 years. And before that as well, because I did nothing else ever. And 10 years before that, I did a personal, individual, long coaching period in which I learned to really work as an entrepreneur and structure my business and in a holistic way, which was really great. And I even learned how to pass that on to others. And I did coach others as a business coach too. But now it was going to be even different. And I was going to be led through how that was going to be like. And it would be a complete let go of everything that I thought I knew, and then a rearranging of everything that I had in a new way. That the essence of that new way was indeed that I would surrender it to Divine Mother for the order and what would come first and what would come next, and when to look at what and how to have the the time and energy um, arrangements between private and work and whatnot. So I was going to learn that in a new way. Yeah, that already started before Harmonious Union, absolutely. But now I arrived and I was going to be shown by the divine what this really was all about in a definitive way. And I was shown that it was also another entrance to the vibration of Harmonious Twin Flame Union to be able to work with your energy and your money, that it's an entrance. Well, I already knew that for years. 20 years ago, I worked with my energy. That's how that was like the currency, so to speak, of my first spiritual teacher, where I went like 15 years or something too. So there was this new way, and it had everything to do with tuning into the harmonious union vibration first and let that do the work. And for me, that among others meant that I was first going to spend time and energy to more healing. It was more private than work for a time. For a long time, longer than I thought was sane or sensible. I wouldn't have wanted that, but that was the process that gave me that. That was Divine Mother arranging that for me. Because this was the way. It was the way to be fully purified and then get the output and then get input from you, new people there out there coming to me, right? That was the way, and it was completely opposite of what I thought I was going to do at that time. I thought I was going to go in like a race car, and I was going to go after my beautiful soul money, and my union's vibration would manifest this house and everything very quickly. But no, I was on bed. I was in bed all the time, crying, because that was the beautiful result of the core purification that Harmonious Union really was. And there was a lot of private time that was needed like that before it all clicked in a new way. There's really a new order that comes to you. So, also in that bigger way of how your strategy over a couple of years goes, yeah, Divine Mother arranges that when there's what. And how do you remain having your house? How do you still pay your bills? How do you still earn a living? How do you have still money to buy something to eat? Well, that's also arranged by Divine Mother. She is the one that made it possible for me. Period. End of story. I didn't know where it would come from, but she did, and she moved through me, and it happened no matter where the money came from. And it was a very spiritual process. So don't be mistaken about this, that you're like, yeah, but we need to follow an inner work path by meditation. And yeah, maybe I'm going to do the key tool. Who knows? Petra says that it brings harmonious union. So maybe I should try it. But for my money and my work and my living, no, 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 no. No, no, I'm going to, work real hard, put my ego to work, and arrange things in all kinds of logical, societal, and social ways for so that it will work out. Yeah, okay, that can be supportive for a time, for a long time, maybe even into harmonious union. But eventually, what will take over is this new way of this new vibration, and that is that your divine core will arrange for a new order and a new, yeah, way of doing it too, surrendered to a much deeper degree than we often like. And we often like to think of as what is needed for anything, yeah, let alone work. Come on, who needs to surrender for work, for a living, for doing your mission, for getting some money and paying your bills? Who needs to surrender for that? Well, you, okay. Me. That's how it works. That's how Divine Mother will guide you. You will experience it. And it will be a blessing because you, like many other people, might feel in your heart that when you reach harmonious union too, that you actually would want to share what you've reached, that you actually would want to exude what you now have and make that specific so that you can help other people with your specific gifts in that harmonious twin flame union kind of way. And that would be actually logic for very many people that come into that state of being first, because it is huge, it is immense, and you would only feel gratitude, you would only want to share it. And it also sustains it for you when you share it. And that is also something that can be made possible for you because we'll in the near future also guide people to become these accredited twin flame coaches under our wings here. So maybe that'll be you. Maybe you can feel in your heart if that feels like a soul's wish for you. Yeah, that would be nice. And we can work together. extending the love, making Divine Mother proud. Well, that's not really the goal, but that'll happen, along the sideline. Doing inner work for a living on all levels is very satisfactory. It means that you are going to feel good in the now on every moment with every task, also like silly tasks, quote unquote. Yeah. And it will mean that you will reap the rewards in your actual feeling heart that is receiving, receiving, receiving. And then when it is full, it is sharing like an overflowing chalice, smoothly, automatically by itself. Now, that is really how your mission is truly supposed to work. And that overflow is going to be an energy that is at the same time the physical world translated as money, because it is the same. And that mission, energy, and money, I do have another video about that for you in which I explain more about that. I hope that will be very inspirational for you too. I will place it here in a couple of seconds. I will see you there. Much love from Petra.